Are you ready to live in a global megacity? The United Nations adopts the new urban agenda, Habitat Phase 3. Under the guise of sustainability and democracy, the United Nations seeks to destroy national sovereignty and stability by constructing global megacities. In October 2016, the United Nations adopted what is called Habitat 3, the new urban agenda, and it is the third phase in their plan to bring about global megacities. Just recently, Freedom Fighter Times, or we, uncovered the true planning behind connectography and the agenda to bring about the high-speed female railways, which will inevitably be a key piece of infrastructure for the New World Order's plan for America. However, what the United Nations has just adopted into their agenda builds on that same ideology. Thereby declaring their agendas the same, they plan to restructure the world into that of a global governance through the means of rebuilding and building, quote, new infrastructure, which entails the construction of megacities, high-speed railways, and so on. According to the UN chief, to transform our world, we must transform its cities, which means that the largest assault under sustainable development will be the re-urbanization of cities far and wide. Reurbanization is a plan to build cities in and up rather than build them out. This is a huge agenda, and it has been going on since Agenda 21, since the beginning of Agenda 21, probably since before that, because let me show you their timeline. Habitat 1, which was in 1976. Habitat 2, Istanbul plus 5. Habitat 3, this is the PrepCom 1 and PrepCom 2. Habitat 3, PrepCom 3, Habitat 3 Conference. At this conference in October 2016, they adopted the agenda, the new urban agenda. And this agenda, which you can find on our website, freedomfightertimes.com, is huge. This century will see a substantial majority of the world's population living in urban centers. The Habitat 3 Conference, therefore, as its mission, the adoption of a new urban agenda, an action-oriented document which will set global standards of achievement in sustainable urban development, rethinking the way we build, manage, and live in cities through drawing together cooperation with committed partners, relevant stakeholders, and urban actors at all levels of government, as well as the private sector. Keep in mind, this is right here. Look, New York, USA, September 10th, 2016. This is not just something for third world countries. This is for the entire world. Every city that is doomed to be a megacity, I said doomed, not deemed, doomed to be a megacity, is a part of this. That includes the USA, that includes Australia, that includes China, and so on and so forth, because it is a big section of global governance. That is how they plan to control people. That is how they plan to make us all live on top of each other. And according to the UN chief, Secretary General's message on World Cities Day, which just happens to be on Halloween or October 31st, cities are increasingly the home of humanity. They are central to climate action, global prosperity, peace, and human rights. More than half of all people live in cities and human settlements, and that portion is projected to grow by 2/3 by 2050. To transform our world, we must transform its cities. Crime, pollution, and poverty are taking their toll on hundreds of millions of city dwellers. At the same time, urban areas are hubs of energy, innovation, and economic dynamism. By investing in cities, we can advance progress across societies. Momentum is building. The recently concluded Habitat 3 conference adopted the new urban agenda, a vision for cities that are just, safe, accessible, affordable, resilient, and sustainable. This marked a milestone in setting global standards for sustainable urban development, sparking new thinking of how we plan, manage, and live in cities. Together with the new global frameworks and agendas, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, the Agenda for Humanity, the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction, and the Addis Ababa Action Agenda, this new urban agenda will put sustainable urbanization at the center of our efforts to eliminate poverty and achieve development and prosperity for all. It can also complement the Paris Agreement on climate change. Now, first of all, if you heard that, you probably thought it was wonderful. Oh, the UN chief cares about my prosperity. Yeah, right. It's a flat lie. Number one, let's look at their symbolism. All right, so this is the conference's, or the Habitat 3 page. This is habitat3.org. If you go to their home page, which I'm going to do right up here, if you'll see, I'm at the About tab, and then if you go over just to the left where you click the H3, you'll see this little flashing thing in the front. Now, hang on, watch this. Oh my, the new urban agenda has been adopted. Thank you for being a part of this historic event. If you look at the image here, that's either a schoolhouse or a church, and they're destroying it. Huh. I personally find that interesting because the symbolism is everything within this. Now, of course, this is a very massive agenda, but this is the UN. This is Habitat3.org, but it is the UN. They adopted the new urban agenda, and they plan to infiltrate every level of governance. Back to our post on this here. Section 5 of their agenda reads, by readdressing the way cities and human settlements are planned, designed, financed, developed, governed, and managed, the new urban agenda will help to end poverty and hunger in all its forms and dimensions, reduce inequalities, promote sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, achieve gender equality, and the empowerment of all women and girls in order to fully harness their vital contribution to sustainable development, improve human health and well-being, as well as foster resilience and protect the environment. Now, of course, if we keep going down here, developing and implementing urban policies at the appropriate level within local, national, and multi-stakeholder partnerships, building integrated systems of cities and human settlements, promoting cooperation among all levels of government. With this new agenda, called the New Urban Agenda, the United Nations is officially 100% infiltrating our government, the United States of America. We knew this. I mean, that's nothing new. But the problem, I shouldn't say the problem, the next phase, let's call it the next phase, because, yeah, Habitat 3, Phase 3. The next part in their agenda is to build the megacities. That's why it's called the New Urban Agenda. Now, what we're going to be seeing are these megacities begin to pop up. All the other cities that surround are going to begin to, quote-unquote, die off. They won't be as nearly as, quote-unquote, sustainable. Under this new urban agenda, it's going to take years to complete according to the UN. How are they going to fast-track it? Who knows? But I have an idea. Wars, death, famine, poverty, so on and so forth. We get it. We know that their entire agenda is based on control and the New World Order. Now with that, ladies and gentlemen, you better get ready. We have a massive new series that's coming out very, very soon. It will be about the UN. Who is behind them? Who are the elitists? Who controls everything? And you probably have never even heard of these individuals before, or this organization, because it's not mainstream news, and alternative news barely, if at all, ever talks about it. We're going to expose them. It's going to be very, very hard-hitting. Of course, this is going to be a part of our unlimited section of our website. All of this research, all of these videos, they all cost money and a lot of time. We would ask that you support us in this fight against the New World Order by signing up. It's $1 a week, $3 a month, or $27 a year. Thank you for your contributions, subscriptions, and of course, thank you for watching. Please share this and get this out. God bless and carry on.